Welcome to Crazy Shit in Real Estate, a weekly podcast where I walk you through some of the wildest, most unbelievable stories you'll hear from the world of real estate. If you like real estate and you love crazy, this is the podcast for you. Before we get any further into this episode, I've got some information to share.
Oh, it's true. Real estate is super competitive and harder than you expected. That's why I created Leigh Brown University. It's everything you need to take you from point A to point whatever your goal is. You could be new to the business or a seasoned vet. I'll help you break through to the next level so that your professional life can look exactly like you desire. Enroll in Leigh Brown University today. I'll help you get there.
All right, so of course my show is Crazy Shit in Real Estate, which the premise being all the things about the real estate space that you never expect, but you really have no choice except to plow your way right through it. So I'd love to know, in your journey from ER doctor to rehabber to developer to somebody who now is able to share that expertise with other people as you scale yourself, what have you seen that makes you say, y'all are never going to believe this?
Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of things. I can actually tell you more stories from the emergency room that you probably wouldn't believe. But,
okay, so we'll tell those later, because one of my best friends, his ex-husband is an ER nurse, and the stories are they're very jaw-dropping. And why is there not a podcast of those, Sunil? I mean, somebody should be telling stories from the ER.
I could do it in about an hour, I think, just from the ER. So, but in real estate, I don't know. It's just, I think it's just like it's like running a business, right? You just never know what's going to happen. I operate primarily in DC, so more of my issues are DC, more DC specific. Really, I'm amazed still in DC how we really have almost like, I guess I call it the Socialist Republic of DC, where the government can kind of control, like, how you rent your property, how you build your property. So really our biggest things are just, dealing with neighbors and them, like, either filing a lawsuit or complaining, and they have so much input on what you can build. Probably one of the biggest things I learned was I was developing 2 condo buildings. This is 2012 or 13. Building was going fine. Everything was fine. We were building. The neighbor didn't like what we were doing and called DCRA, which is our government authority, on us a number of times, and finally sued us. And really, it was kind of interesting because the lawsuit, like, she didn't even really say what was the complaint, and it dragged on for 2 years because of the court system in DC. Just they were able to drag it on and on, and it took me 4 years to develop those buildings. That should have probably taken me a year. So just the amount.
She didn't have a complaint. She just got a lawyer and said, "Let's be a fly in the ointment over here."
Yeah, because their lawsuit, there was never like even a clear, like, what were you, because we could have addressed it, right? She said, hey, here's what my issues with you. We could have addressed it. But because of the way the court system works in DC, she just kind of filed the lawsuit and sat on it. And the court system is so slow that it was like 2 years had gone by before we were able to get a resolution. We ended up having to pay her. We just paid her to go away. So I think that was her strategy going into it, was just to make money off of me.
Which is awful, because as a developer, it drives me completely crazy how many people act like developers are of the devil. But if you don't have developers with a vision for putting something together in place, that's why we don't have enough available rooftops in the country right now. I mean, we have this supply shortage, and it's because too many neighbors yell and fuss about rooftops near them, and too many municipalities allow things like this with unnecessary lawsuits and unnecessary court involvement when you're trying to create a place for somebody to live.
Absolutely, that's what we're doing. Exactly. We're just trying to provide a beautiful home for somebody, a safe, brand new, modern home that they can enjoy for years to come. And that's you mentioned that, it's crazy because, again, now you got me going on the government in DC, but Muriel Bowser, our mayor, who's like our governor, talks all the time about the lack of affordable housing, the lack of housing in DC, and we need more housing. She talks all the time about that. Yet the reality is her own government is literally every step of the way. They try to mess with us and try to I know a majority, like a significant number of people that just won't work in DC. They won't develop in DC. They won't work at all in DC because it's so difficult. But yeah, that's exactly how the government runs. You've got them kind of saying the both things, and they're not doing anything in the middle, really.
Oh, you're enjoying this little clip? Well, the rest of the story is available on any of your podcast apps. Just go search for and subscribe to Crazy Shit in Real Estate with Leigh Brown.